So this is what we're going to be drawing. We'll be drawing the D.L. Evans Bank in Boise, is what that looks like. And so I'm going to go ahead and let's just check the dimensions out of curiosity. So we go ahead and we can take this, and this is going down, and we say, well, where's the horizon line? Well, again, this looks like just by very quickly, this has an angle coming down, going this direction. Okay, if it's going down, that means that's above the horizon line. And then we have this right here, which is along where the sidewalk meets the street. That's going up. Okay. So we take this out. Now, again, I got 3 pieces of paper here. And so obviously, you know, I'm not going to be able to, I could get a big piece of paper and try to find the exact dimensions. But if I look at this, they look like they're heading, you know, if I split between the two of here, it's going to be about the horizon line. Now, the other thing I've got is I've got a doorway. And so if this is a doorway, it is a doorway, but if this doorway is, oh, I don't know, 7 feet tall, I could check this by bringing this over and say, hey, does that, let's say this is probably an 8, maybe it's 8. But we could say, hey, if I'm visualizing a person standing here, where would the top of their head be? And I could guesstimate that. And if I do that, that's how we usually do a scene like this. You're going to try to figure out, again, this almost feels like this should be the horizon line. Now, I could check this to see if I'm right, because this right here is a smaller dimension. This is a further, more distant dimension. This I don't believe is. We can find out in a second. Well, we can do it by taking this. We'll use a different pencil since we're going down and to the left. This one is going down this way. And so we can go ahead and take this through there all the way to where it hits. And then we're going to take this, we're going to use the sidewalk and bring this up. So I was close. This is the actual horizon line. And if I wanted to double check another one, we could take another couple of these to see where they are diminishing, just to double check, you know, in case I got my line off a little bit. Like so. This is going to be coming out this far, far distant vanishing point. Right? By the way, it looks like those are not going to the same place, which means either I missed this one slightly, or I missed that one slightly, or this this bank is out of whack. But I'm guessing it's more likely what I just said. It's me having missed. Let's take the top isn't straight, is it? Take the roof. Let's hope for once the roof is straight. But interesting. So yeah, these are coming out to this vanishing point just right there. And let me go ahead and take this now. Let's check the along here. It's kind of dark, and this is a night scene. I've got a better. This is just a very rough photocopy, but so yeah, it seems again like, you know, it's still, I don't know how this one got off. Because if I line that to where it's going now, okay, yeah, I just missed the edge on this one was what happened. But so this is the vanishing point, just barely right off the page. And so this is going to be closer, but neither one of these are on our page when we're drawing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to use the building itself to build a diminishment guide, a very rough one. So if I was drawing this per se, I'd say, all right, well, this side here, this is my corner. This side is going, down to sort of a far distant vanishing point. This one's going to a much closer vanishing point, so it's going to be a little bit more convergence. They're a little more extreme angle, right? And let's say this was how far this one went over. And this was how far this one went over. And now for our guidelines, again, we're going to try just by eyeballing this, try to split this in half. That angle in half, and this angle in half. And then we're going to try to go, let's see, what's this distance here, and try to put that on if we needed to. And we try to take this distance here and take that distance there. And again, we could very quickly put together. Now, what if we cut this in half, right? So let's say this right here was, this was my horizon line. Again, if this is my horizon line, got to be really careful with what's going on, over there and stuff. But again, we can take this. We can say, well, this is the same distance, or we take that and double it. Take this distance and then come up there. As far as that goes, take this distance, come up there. Again, we could take this distance and double it down to there. Take that distance, come up to there. And again, this is just to give me a diminishment line, and then we go, all right, we can add that length again. What's that length? Bring it down. What's that length? Bring it up. We can start building again our diminishment guides by using the correct distances, or close to it. We just say, all right, that's supposed to go there. This would be my next diminishment. This distance is the same here. These distances are the same there. And that would build me my diminishment guides. And then I could just go, all right, well, we'll just go here one more up there. Take this distance, go one more up there. And then you might say, well, how do I use this? Well, if I was building a box and this box falls between these two, let's say the line for this box is right here, or the edge of it, or it's the edge of a doorway or something. This is, if we came over here, we say, well, how far up is that? Is that 3/4? Well, then we'll come over here and give that about 3/4. And so if we've done this right, this should still be converging slightly to this line, but it will give me the angle between, it'll help me with the angle between here and here. This angle is like, just about the first third. So I go, okay, well, should be about the first third. And again, by doing that, we're going to start to get an angle again that we can use for this window, so that we're using diminishment guides to get better ideas of better ideas of the angle. Okay, so that's diminishment guides for two-point perspective, and I'm going to show you on this building how I'm going to use it. We're going to come back with that in a few minutes. We are back. So this is Kevin McCain with Idaho Art Classes and Kevin McCain Studios. All right, we are back. This is Kevin McCain with Idaho Art Classes and Kevin McCain Studios. We're going to be drawing this building over here in two-point perspective. And so let's go ahead and start on that now. So we can see it. This is going to be a little bit smaller. So we're going to have something. You could actually take this if we want to and find out, hey, how big is that? And it's, you know, you'd say, hey, maybe it's, you know, whatever, 1.5 times, but so maybe right about here, if you wanted to have the same ratio, the same proportion, if you will. So maybe right about there. That should be pretty close. So let's go ahead and straighten this out. That we're gonna. We've got that right there. This will be our borders for my image. You know, it's on a bigger piece of paper, so we can, you know, I can work out any perspective issues that might arise or what have you. Moving my pencils out of the way. So all right, hello, this is Kevin McCain. We're back. We're going to be doing this building here in the downtown city. We're going to be doing it in 2-point perspective. I'm going to be using basically charcoal so you can see it better, but you could use graphite or anything really. We could be using, I'm going to move this out of the way for just a minute. So you could be using any sort of paper, sketch paper, or nicer paper, whether it be Bristol or Bond or something like that. So this is now should be squared off. Hello again, I'm Kevin McCain with Idaho Art Class in Kevin McCain Studios. We're going to be drawing tonight this building in 2-point perspective here. I'm going to be doing it a little bit smaller, so hopefully we can see exactly where it is on here. Or so you can see, the image and all that good stuff. So, once again, we've got this that we're drawing in 2-point perspective. And we're going to have these distant vanishing points. We're going to deal with how to do that. And this is just really how to lay this out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just have that I'm ignoring that little bit that I just took off right there. So again, if I'm going to do this, I've got this little building here where I have a street, the street scene. It's at night. It's got lots of atmosphere. It's really quite a nice image as far as that goes. So we got just that building right there. We then have, the edge of this building here, and then that comes up and there's a building. And we're going to try to judge the angle of this building. This is going to be going down on out to the left. This one over here is going to be going down and out to the right. All right. And this is this building right here. And then we've got, that we've got the sidewalk coming up like this to going to far distant vanishing point. Now, if I was looking at this and we said, all right, well, this is the top of this building. This right here. Coming forward. And that goes down there, like so. And this is coming forward, and then this is the edge of that building. Gone a little too far out, haven't we? I'm going to need to move this. So I'll move this over to about there. Still use the same angle. That means this will now be coming from over here. The edge of this is going to move over as well, so let's go ahead and move this. Like so. Okay, and then this is going to be going this way. Okay. And let's say this right over here is the edge of that building there. And let's see if this is and let's say this is what, a 2-story building. No, actually 3 or 4, isn't it? It almost looks like, because we have a story here and then a second story and a third, but this looks like it's got, you know, that this is the same height as that, so maybe it's a 4-story building. So if we said, we always take the measurements from the corner, so we said, hey, if we want to divide this into 4, they give us, you know, a feeling of what this would then look like. And then if this is, let's see, we're going to come down here with all this trim. It's architectural trim. And so maybe I should start, that should start there. This is a sidewalk going back to the corner of the building. So again, maybe we, you know, I need to go ahead and redecide what I've got here. Okay, so let's say that these right here are my increments, and that's just I'm trying to get a sense of the proportion for this thing. This isn't diminishment guides, but if I said, hey, this is, you know, whatever, this is almost 20 feet off the ground up to here. So then if this is 10 feet, this is, you know, if this is a 40-foot building, well then we're going to say, all right, well then this would be 5 feet right there, and maybe just a hair above that would be 6 feet. Well then this seems to be, you know, like a real low vantage point because of how splayed open that that is. And so we'd say, all right, well, our horizon line is then going to go ahead and be right through here. All right. So there's our horizon line. And so this is going to go over here. And we can go ahead and say, you know, if I need to, I can mark a vanishing point on that horizon line and use that vanishing point to actually gauge this a little better. Now, if I was in the field, I could just, again, I could say, hey, I can either live with that, or we could do what we were talking about before, where I could say, well, let's see, that, you know, could be the same there, would be the same. That's 1, 2, 3, you know, so this is 3 up there, and again we could take this, you know, we could go ahead and go, well, let's see where that would be, and this would be 1, 2, and you know, 3. Wait a minute, I didn't do that right, because this is my corner, and this is that, and that was this distance 4 times, and we take this distance 2, 3, 4, about there, and try this once more. 1, 2, 3. And we could go ahead and use that to bring that down. Looks like I missed something. That's 1. Okay, that's why. 1, 2, 3. So it's getting steadily more and more off. So that's where I got. So that's what was happening there. So I had. That should then be right about there. There we go. And so if this was then the same thing, we said, all right, well that's 1, 2. That's just a little bit higher. And then we said, all right, well what was this again? And let's say this was 3. All right. Again, we still have this going through here, which again would put us very, very close. When we're hand sketching, close is close enough. So we could certainly use this again to start to set up diminishment guides if I wanted to, if I was trying to do this by hand. But yet I needed something more than just guesswork. Yeah. So that we got there. This we got a little. Try this again. I think I'm going for the wrong points. 1, 2, 3. No, that's 3. 1, 2, 3. That's 3. Where did the 2 go? 1, 2. All right. That's 1, 2. So this is 3. So that should go. And this is. Okay. So anyways, that tells me that this right here is curving a little bit. All right. That's a little better. All right. So even if I could do the same thing over here, where we go, okay. Well, if these are the points, got too many dots there. Let's go ahead and lighten this. Like so. And then we can do the same thing going this way. This is the one that's further out, going much more distant. As far as that goes, where that slams in the side, that's again an easier way to, and I'll do this with a little bit more. One, 2, 3. So this is 3 as well. They have to be on that line. These 3 could go there. Again, we could go ahead and take this out. Take this out. Take this out. And there go my diminishment guides. Now, I'll go ahead and just darken the horizon line. So maybe, well, I'll do it anyways. I was going to do it with a different medium. But okay, so this is the horizon line. In the beginning, we'll just go ahead and define the horizon line, just to help us from getting too far, so we don't get too far off. If I need to, I could go ahead and put in my verticals. Pardon me. Go ahead and take those over there. This would then be going. If I needed to, I could take these and go, hey, what are these again? Where are those diminishments going to? And you could go ahead and take this through there, and just give yourself some light, again, some light lines that are your diminishment lines going out that away. And again, if you want to, you could say, well, is this as tall as that? And it almost is, so you'd almost go, hell, all right. What is this distance again? We can bring that up there. And you could just go ahead and go, all right, well, let's grab that and take that diminishment guideline out. I used to make pencils. I don't know if they're still get them, but you could get them where the camera would ignore them. Photo blue pencils. There's this certain sort of blue. And your concept artists in Hollywood would use them all the time for stuff like this, where they were trying to get they needed to mark stuff like this, and they didn't want to mess it up, essentially. And so you could take it and use it, and the camera ignores it. That's the cool part about the photo blues, is that when you take a photograph with it would ignore it, so it would be invisible. And so they use it to sketch stuff with. All the time. So again, now we've got my dimensional guides going this way, and again we've got some over here. And we're just going to go ahead and take this through there and come out. Take this through there and come out. Take this through here and come out. Now these are just the guides, but this can really help with something like a 2-point perspective. Now again, sometimes when people get up there and they'll just do really quick ones, because if I'm going to do a sketch where I'm going to be working on this for like 20 minutes, you just don't have the time, to sit here and do very careful sorts of diminishment guides. Even really rough guides can help your sketch look like it's giving a nod to perspective. So that's what we want to understand, that we can get to the point, and that's what we're trying to do, is get to the point where it's not that big a deal to do something in perspective. It's not like oh my goodness, don't make me, I refuse, and I don't care who knows about it either. Okay, so this is, again, this is the division point. And now I've got this laid out, and we can actually deal with this as a drawing. So this was supposed to be the sidewalk. This is then the building. This looks like this. If this is the building here, and we wanted to use a different color for this building, but how tall is this? And you could say, well, how tall? If I wanted to, I could have taken a measurement while I was there in the field, and I can see it's about 1/3 times as tall as it is wide. And you could ask yourself, is that 1/3? And if the answer is yes, then you're like, all right, good. Again, we can still use measuring with this. And then we say, all right, well, this is the top right up here of that building. Right, and then we see, and then there's a building next to it. So there's a building right there where the building stops, and there's another building. So this stops right here, and there's another building, and again we can see if we look at this, we can see this coming out a little bit. So this is coming out and forward, so that's why we can see that corner. And so this is coming out just a little bit. And then we have the building is shorter than this one. So for right now, we'll just put this on here, that this is that shorter building, though it's even shorter still. So maybe here. And then we would take this and go, okay. And we can use this diminishment guide because, you know, this is going to be going down and away. Something over here, and then that goes over there. And this is just the basic boxes. And there's a street too. So if we had the street, you know, and this is the edge of the street, and then this is the crosswalk coming forward. Like so, diminishing, going back and diminishing, which it is. Getting, this is. There we go, and this one is going back here. So it's getting a little smaller as it goes back. And then if we're going to do the lines in that crosswalk, again, we could, you know, start to deal with, you know, the lines in the crosswalk and all that good stuff. And going back that way. We also have the street lights, so we could have a little plane for the street lights. You know, this first street light is down here a little bit. And it's not as high as that first story, which is, again, about 20 feet up. So we could take that, and then this would be this plane going over here. So that would be the street light plane. Whoops, not coming down quite enough. It is a little bit, but just not enough. Okay. So then anything, we get street lights along there. We then have a tree. There's a tree that's next to the street lamp. The tree is, you know, something where this tree is almost as big, it looks like, as the building. Almost, but not quite. So if this is our tree right here, again, we could take that, you know, and again, I could do this by hand, or you just go ahead and, you know, again, we're using these diminishment guides, and this would be the height of any trees that are the same height. They could be lower. This is like the tallest, and the tallest one comes to about here, and then everything else is getting smaller, but some are a little shorter. So there's another one down here that isn't quite as tall, but it's sort of right here on this point. So he's not as tall, so maybe he comes up to here and then he comes down. You know, stuff like that. This would then be going up towards there. There's my little tree, and then there's a tree between them that again is a little shorter. So a little shorter than this one over here. This is then going over here. This is that first 20-foot story. No, it's not. This is 5 feet. That's 10 feet. Is that right? Oh, we said this was supposed to be the doorway. No, that's it right there. Okay, there we go. So we'll go ahead and mark this right here. That was to the top. The doorway. That's right, but then the doorway goes a little higher. So maybe this was. Let's see. We took that and doubled it up. That would then be 10. This right here would be 10. That would then be 20. This here would be 30. That wouldn't be big enough. And I guess maybe I lifted my my horizon line a little bit. So if I was going to do this, we'd have to do a little bit of where this would come up. So if this, I could do that where this is now smaller and that's now 5 feet. Well, then that's 10 feet. This is 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet. We could do that. That would have got a little bit too far, I think. So maybe we'll do it right there. So let's come back here. We can see this once again. We went from here to there. Then we go, let's see, that's 10 feet right there. Did I do that before? 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. That's not going to work, so I'm going to do this one. Try that one again. Goes there to there. Put a little mark so I know which one it is. That would then go there. That's now 10 feet, so that would be 10 feet. And that would be 10 feet. That's 20, 30. That'd be at least over 35 feet. Um, $35 feet, I think we can live with that. So this is where instead of moving, because we're already locked in on the horizon line, but what we change is we're changing where the building starts, which is going to be right here, and then the building ends right here, and then this is the horizon line, which originally was here. So we've shrunk where the building is going to start. So the building will now be going this way and this way. And that means we're also going to change the sidewalk. Okay? So we're going to bring this sidewalk back a little bit. Because again, if this is the front and we want to say, hey, how far is that sidewalk? We're going to find out that we probably have too much sidewalk. So we're going to go ahead and use this again, and this would be the sidewalk. Try and get this and this to both be diminishing. Okay, that would be the sidewalk. This would be where the building heads. Alright, so we have sort of the makings of this building. Alright, so I'm going to take this to here and that to there, and then I'm going to take this and bring this up to about there. I'm going to do that instead. Okay, so this will be this part of the building. This is going to come down. Split the difference between those two angles. Split the difference between these two angles. Right? We got this big opening here. We have this, and then this is about the top of the window. The top. This is about the top of the doorway, and then this is about the top of that. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so we'll use this one. Using the diminishment guides to kind of guide. So this should be getting smaller as that goes away, and this should be getting smaller. They both should. If it's the wrong angle, this will open up while this is getting smaller. So we're just using this to sight and to eyeball and make better decisions with these diminishment guides. we then have, this is divided into thirds. And if we want to, we can go ahead and say, well, are they even thirds? And if they are, well, then we take this and use armature of a rectangle up here. Bring this down through the middle. If we've done that right, this should be in perspective middle. This should be wider than that, which it is a little bit. And then we go from the middle to this guy, and this is going to be, whoops, this is going to be about through the middle. There we go, right about there. This would then go through there, bring that down. Bring this to there, to that corner, bring that down. And these should be now thirds. And then we're going to say, well, all right, well, that's fine. This is now equal thirds, but we still have the ornamentation going along here on this building. That's this ornamentation right here. And then we have where this scoots out, and then this, again, there's this, where this projects out. Then this goes and projects in, and this comes out again, and this is just above these windows. So we're going to go ahead and put that there. Now, if I took a, if I looked at this, this actually is a little bit wider in the middle. So I'm going to open this up a bit. Okay. And then we're going to have, there is a molding, it reminds me of like stuff we used to do for cabinetry. There's this, there's this little decorative piece here. So I'm going to give some of that decoration, bring it down. And then this transitions onto a column. This column comes down through here. Now part of this is actually cut on a 45. So, as we get into this, we could go, hey, where does that 45 start? It starts right about here, and then goes about this, same over this way. This is going to go there. This is going to be almost the same, so we check that. Bring that down. Okay. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sorts of divisions. These divisions seem to be all, are they the same as this one? I think they are, but they do have different windows. So if that was the case, I could do one of two things. I could either just try to take this and make it a little bit thinner each time. That's way too much to start with. That might be a little strong too, so maybe we'll do that. And then we'll do it a little bit again, and then we'll do it a little bit again, and then a little bit again, and then, so we can certainly do it this way where we're just trying to get a feel for what's happening on this. We could do that where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so you'd be like, well, okay, this is the end of this. This is the trim, and then you'd say, all right, well, this is 1, and if I want to, I could, because sometimes I'll get lost in here, so I'll make little notations. That's 1, and then this is, 2, and this is 3, and then this is, maybe he's getting a little bit too big too quickly. Bring that back over. And then you go, okay, well, this right here is 5, 6, 7, and all of a sudden we've got enough divisions. There's also, we have, you know, this hangs down a little bit, both this side and this side. All right. And we could go ahead and say, all right, what are these? You know, we could go ahead and try to put in the windows as far as that goes. And again, with these diminishment guides, it's a little easier to put stuff in once we've got this. Like usually people get so flummoxed, or you know, they get so distracted by detail that they get really nervous, and their brain starts to turn off and all these types of things. Whereas if we just go ahead and mark the diminishment guides, it's a lot easier to deal with this sort of stuff. And there's a space. Then we've got these that has 3 different. Now we can just take these all the way through. And we take the top of this and take that down. And again we go, alright, well this is the space, and then from this space we're going to take this and divide these into 2 smaller windows, flanking a bigger window. There's the small one, here's the small one, and then the bigger one would be right in here. Right? And we've kind of, it's got a little bit, I was looking for my eraser, but I can use a little bit of tape here to pull this up. Well, we say, alright, here's the bigger window. Division down there. And this is the smaller one on this side. And this is the smaller one on this side. Alright. And if we need to, you know, I guess normally they'd be light because this is at night, but for right now I'm just putting a tone in here to, again, to keep track of what I've done. Okay. And then there's a wider space, and then we do this again. We're going to do the same sort of similar configuration where we've got 6 straight windows. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and try to figure out. If I find in the middle, I can take the edge of this and the edge of that, trying to go through the middle to kind of double it over. We could certainly do that sort of fun stuff. If we feel like we're getting lost in all the details, and I'm someone that actually will. I get lost very quickly, and so I take whatever I can to keep it clear. If I have a clear, if I know what I'm doing, if it's very clear the way, I won't have an issue. If I'm unclear, it's a train wreck, and so we want to go ahead and make sure that we are, you know, clarifying what's going on here and not being less clear about it. All right, so we've got another one over here. We're gonna have this space, this window, which all of a sudden that went a little bit too wide. I think we get the hint, but I think we need to at least indicate this one. This has a lot more. Because there's one building essentially that's being highlighted in this, we want to go ahead and make sure that it's we're putting it in there, giving it its due, so to speak. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to put in the windows here. We have the thin one, then we have a thicker one that's about twice the size of the two of those put together, and then we have another thin one behind there, like so. And then we have another little area that's, or a little rest area, and then it starts all over again. And we have the thinner one and the thicker one. And then the thin one. And then there's another space once again. So I'm going to go ahead and get this opened up here. And we're going to go ahead and put the last two windows, which are these two windows, right through here. And then another, this window right through here. And that's, so it's getting smaller as they go over. This line looks like we kind of can see. Oh no, I guess I'm not off that bad. So again, we got these arched windows over here, arched window over here. And if I ran out of building, guess what? We didn't measure this building exactly, but that's now the edge of the building. So I'm gonna use the rest of these as landmarks for the rest of this picture. So that's why I wanted that, is because it's gonna give me the ability to much more easily use these as landmarks to then try to create these little bits of detail that are happening here. This thing goes over here. This comes down here. There's a little, so this little trim thing. This goes up there. Whoops. It's curving down, so we're going to get this little guy and go, okay, well, take that, you sorry so-and-so. And then this is going to come down. This is then there's a little area here where usually, where you got the writing of the bank, coming down about yay far. And this is going out here and around. This is going around. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this is going around as well. So this would be coming, going here. And then there's sort of a little trim, and it goes around. A little trim, it kind of cuts back at a little bit of a 45. So we see, again, a little bit of this coming back onto the building. Then there's a little thing, and then this comes out from the building. And then this comes up, like so. This is then that little building around the corner, because it has a little bit of what looks to be a 45 up here, sort of diving into that other building. And let's see, we've got this trim here, and so this is the big trim. This is the there's very similar things we used to do in my dad's cabinet shop when we're dressing up doors and stuff. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I need to flip this over so I actually see the line I'm making with this thing. I got it turning away from it, trying to look through the plastic, and that always screws things up. So I have to keep that in mind. But then we've got this roof line over here. And we're going to go ahead and there's a couple little flourishes to be aware of on this thing. And I'm going to go ahead and use this to track those. And of course there's also, there's some stuff on here we didn't do. This one needs to come over just a little, flip this upside down again so I can actually see the line I'm going to make. This needs to get a little thicker right through here. It's getting a little too thin too quickly. And then as this comes off, this is going to come off here. and then this goes around. Okay, and so we've got this little trim here where we've got this little thing, this little sort of thing like that going on. We then have this up here. Now this is doing some funky stuff where this is coming here and then it's going there, and then this is going to come up. This comes up here just a little bit, then this comes up here, and then there's this cute little architectural detail up here, and then this comes down this side, and then that architectural detail comes back down, you know, right about so. This is too big actually, this architectural detail that I made. Too big, I need to make it smaller. Okay. And then this, again, this is kind of funky because this comes down here, up, over, back down, like so. This then also comes up, little detail, this thing comes here, like so. There's another little architectural detail right through here that's on this little and again, we're not doing an architectural rendering, so we can go ahead and make it a little different than what it is because it's not supposed to be exact. It's just an architectural detail, and we're trying to, you know, get this to just kind of look right. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of this over here. We're going to come back. Alright, so we're going to continue drawing this. I just laid out, these are sort of spaced evenly between the windows. So again, this is why the windows, I was trying to get those windows on because they're fairly important to what's happening here. Let's move this out of the way so we can see some things. So again, we've got this little building over here yonder. And again, this little building's coming out a little bit, and it's coming back right in through there. So, which makes sense because we have this pillar out here that's halfway down the concrete, or the side out from the sidewalk, and to make this building look right, it abuts or is, you know, runs into this building right over here, and that brings us out far enough to so we're going to go ahead and take this. This goes back there like so. This is then where this building is. Where this is going up like so. This then is going back, and we're going to look for, you know, where this no, I don't think hold on, it's coming off of there, that's going out there. So yeah, this is a little different angle. That's a little different angle. Okay, well, alright, so that comes up. This goes over. Like so. Then this goes over here. Like so. Again, this is coming over here. That runs into there. This then is going back because this would go over here. Okay, so that goes back this way. All right. Goes back in there. This then has, again, this column so this has a bit of an overhang. This is a column coming down here on the 45, no less. That's coming down off there and what is this? Gotcha. So okay, so what's going on here? Did these all get off? No, that's why everything's leaning out. So this would be a good time so we can sketch the windows in, but then there's times where you're going to go, okay, now we're going to get these things all finished up, or at least pointing the right direction, because it's not going to help anyone if they're not pointing the right direction. So we're just straightening some of these up, like so. Again, there's a couple. This right here, this does not look straight. Pardon me. So we're going to straighten that up. This is then going to be going down and to the vanishing point, like so, thereabouts. All right, again, at some point we're going to go ahead and continue. Okay. Again, this whole facade is leaning forward, and this would be a good time to, again, get this figured out. And, pardon me. All right, pardon me. So we're going to go ahead and take this over here. All right. And so we would continue to, to get this going. As, if we need to, we can say, all right, we'll go ahead and straighten this out. So forth and so on. This is going to go down. This is then go down here. Go to that vanishing point. We just keep going and keep going and keep going. Of course, this is going to be, this goes in, and then there's the little frame here, and this is going across and straight from here to there. This is the one that's cut, the front that's cut on the 45, and that just does not seem to be conforming to that original straight line, does it? Well, I guess it's got so many lines that are kind of wacky here that's probably part of the reason we need to go through here and start straightening stuff up. But so again, this over here is supposed to be, again, where the 45 stops. This is then going over here this direction. All right. This then has Has a division that comes down right through there. This one has another one that's right through there. Then there's a thing going across the bottom. And then you have the door, where the doorway, we can see the doorway here. And then it goes, oh, I keep forgetting, oh, that's, so we can just keep going on this thing. All right. Bring this in here. Bring that in there. Bring that there. Bring this here. As far as that goes. And where this here then turns, it turns and starts going in this way. We can actually see a little bit in the store. There's like a little, like a storefront. You know, I don't know if this was always a bank, but there's a little alcove back here where, you know, where they put like mannequins and stuff like that in the store windows. But we would have this along here where we've got these, we have the pillars, and then we can see into the store a little bit. This actually has like a little wall, but this is, whoops. This is the little pillar, and then this is going to the vanishing point over here, as far as that goes. And then this is, again, this has a little bit of like this little treatments here along the floor where, you know, it's probably 24 inches off the ground or something. Keep on going back there, you know, that would be space between that and the ground. We then would have, again, this is where we just continue on with this. And again, we're just trying to get just enough of this stuff so it feels like a building. We're not trying to do an architectural rendering. And I don't say that to make it seem like we're not trying. I'm just saying that so it doesn't seem like, oh my goodness, what do we gotta do here? This is nuts. And we don't. We're just gonna try our best to make this building look as nice as we can. We've also got the we've got the tree out here. So out here we've got this little tree. Yeah. So we've got this little tree that comes over here and then comes up over here, something like that. And then this tree has a limb that comes over here, and then that splits. So we have this, again, this tree through here, which is really kind of fun. Why wouldn't we want to put the tree in here? I'm not going to worry about trying to make it look like it's got the lights. And again, I'm not doing an illustration here, though that would be fun. That's not the point of this thing. The point is just and then we have part of the trunk going here, and then this branches out, and so forth and so on. The tree is a branching system, and so we can start putting some branches on there. And then again, this is the little tree here. Next to it, there's like a little little trash can bin. Like so. Next to there, we've got this little lamp. Like it's a little light through here. So we've got the little lamp there. Then we have another tree next to the lamp, and this tree is a little smaller than the other tree. So this is their smaller tree. And then there's another tree even further back. Back here, there's another tree. Again, this tree is not quite as large as the first tree, but it's taller than the second tree. So again, we could go ahead and have this tree that's over here and branched out. So that would be this tree right here. I'm going to have this, going back into going back into space, like so. We have then this is a little bit of sidewalk up here, going back into space, as far as that goes. And this would, we keep doing this, until we've got this thing all figured out. So, and then we'd have the, this rounds through here, so we cut off the corner so that can round, and then you have, you have some gutters back there, like there's a, we can see the little cut for the little gutter right there in the street, and there's a couple little places to park. So there's a little parking meter back here. A little parking meter can give us a little bit of help us with this, with the size of how big this stuff is. That tells me that my can's a little too tall, so bring the garbage can down to here. It's got a little too big, too tall, maybe even a little too wide, but and then we've got the crosswalk through here. Whoops, needs to open up. It's a little better. So we're just going to try again to keep this going with this 2-point perspective. So I want you to go ahead and give that a shot. Using these concepts, again, I could go ahead and keep working on this. This is just a building that's going to come out, turn the corner. I don't see really much of it. There's some windows over here that I don't really see much of. We have this big skyscraper back here. That's really just divisions of windows that are getting bigger and bigger. As they come forward. So I want you to try to take this drawing. I'm going to send you a picture of this drawing and do a drawing of it using in 2-point perspective as best you can. Alright. This has been Kevin McCain with Idaho Art Classes and Kevin McCain Studios. Have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.